Hey, everybody, it's John Halpin. I'm here with Josh Katzowitz. It's been a while since you've been here. Thanks for this big, long break. But welcome to this edition of Pickwatch Live. Josh, are we ready? We're ready for kickoff now. It's Thursday night. I can do it tonight. I'm ready to go.
Yeah, it's 2 weeks, like we were just talking off air. 2 weeks is a long time. 1 week almost would be too short. So maybe it should be Super Bowl Wednesday from now on. Just get that 10 days going in there.
Yeah.
I tell you what, and covering it, I've covered, I think, 4 or 5 of them in my career. And that Super Bowl week gets really, really long because a lot of late nights, a lot of early mornings, a lot of writing. By Thursday or Friday, you're like, dude, I don't want to be in the city anymore. I don't want to see these people anymore. Just get the game over with so I can go home.
And you're like, and at that point, you're going, and we understand why they do it with the logistics and all that stuff. It's fine. We get it. But do you get to the point where you cover them, you get to Thursday night, you're like, what the hell am I going to write about at this point?
There's a lot to write about. Well, I was in it with CBS Sports, so we had, a bunch of people on the ground. So there's like maybe 8 people writing stories. So then it was a matter of like, who's writing what? And it's not just a matter of what do I have to do? It's a matter of like, how do I find a story among these 8 people? But I mean, there's so much stuff to write about, and there's so much interest in there. It's usually not too difficult. But by Thursday or Friday night, if you've gone out 4 or 5 nights in a row and drunk a bunch of beer and all that kind of stuff, then that's the endurance part.
Right.
You really have to, most of these guys haven't trained all year long for this. And by Thursday or Friday, you're like, dude, I'm just going to go to the hotel at 7 o'clock at night and go to sleep. Yeah,
this is not like going to Kansas City to cover a Sunday game in November where you get there Saturday afternoon, you wake up Sunday morning, you go to the game and fly home. Right. This is hardcore, not partying, but you can it's not like you're on deadline every night.
It's a marathon. It's not a sprint.
It's hard. I know. I've been not to Super Bowls, but other things like that. So I get where you're coming from.
We persevere though, because that's how we do it.
Yes. So you got to take one for the team somehow, right? So, what's been your favorite goofy media comment or activity or anything this week?
I have haven't covered a bunch of these media days and covered the ridiculousness of it all. I tend to I tried to avoid that some stuff. What was kind of funny was I'm not a fan of Barstool Sports at all. I don't read them. I don't like them. Right. I don't think they're funny. I think they're misogynistic and all that. But with Sean Payton apparently wearing that shirt, the Goodell's a clown shirt underneath his sweater or whatever it was, that was pretty biting and pretty that was a statement, man.
Yeah,
that was probably because it was like Sean Payton's like, screw the man,
Yeah, that's right. He's angry. He's still angry.
He got screwed. Screw him. So from that perspective, and what's Goodell going to do with Sean Payton? I mean, I like that.
Sitting home eating ice cream, pouting. Man, Sean Payton sitting home eating ice cream, pouting, and being angry at the world. It's terrible.
Yeah. That's probably my favorite fashion statement, at least.
All right. I think my favorite thing was when they asked Wade Phillips on Monday night what if there's anything different. He's faced Brady a bunch of times and how he was going to game plan for him. He said, actually, what I really want is a headset with Tony Romo's voice in it so you can tell me all the plays the Patriots are going to run.
I'll tell you what, man, that was really funny. And Wade Phillips is full of that stuff.
Yes.
Just like his daddy. I was lucky enough to interview Bum Phillips a few times for some books I'd written. And Bum Phillips was, was the same kind of down home Southern humor, and Wade Phillips, the apple isn't far from the tree because that guy, he comes up with some good, and he's a hell of a defensive coordinator too. As much as you can talk about like how he was as a head coach in Dallas, man, you cannot talk bad about how his credentials as a defensive coordinator. That guy is
right.
Really good.
He's been great at it for a long time. So I was reading some stuff the other day about
Twitter too. He's great at Twitter. That's the thing. I mean,
Yep. He's great at Twitter, and people. He's gotten a lot of love this week. Like we're talking about now, people talking about God, what a great guy he is, and he's always got a good line. He's a friendly guy, and he's willing to do anything for anybody. And one story came out that when he was coaching with the Bills for 3 years, his number was listed in the phone book.
Yeah, I saw that.
That's awesome.
But I mean, those kind of coaches. That wasn't that's not necessarily unusual. I mean, like you couldn't do that like Sean Payton would. You could never do that with Bill Belichick, But like I could call Bum Phillips at home. I could call Parseghian from Notre Dame. Is it Era or Aura?
Era, yeah.
Who just died not too long ago. I wrote a book and I had some help from him. I could call him. You could call that guy anytime. He'd pick up the phone. Like this legendary coach. So I mean,
right.
was a smaller game back then. I'm not sure the coaches certainly didn't love the media back then, but they were more accessible, it seems like. And, there wasn't as much attention, so they probably welcomed the coverage,
Gotcha. Yeah. All right. Let's get to the game, everybody. We're not going to we don't think we're going to keep you an hour tonight because there's only one game. I mean, during the year, we do 16 games in an hour. Tonight, one game. I'm guessing we could keep it under, 50 minutes somehow, but let's see how it goes. Just to get you up to date, regular season standings against the spread. Ryan Fowler tied for 6th. Josh 21st on 27th. As I said, mid-season, I thought I had Josh beat, and he just steamrolled me the rest of the way.
Pretty hard to catch up now, isn't it, buddy?
Yeah, I don't think I can make up that ground with one game going on. Before the game, before we get to the stuff, if you have questions on Twitter between now and kickoff, he's at Josh Katzowitz. I'm at Halpin 37. The main account is at Pickwatch. Ryan is at Freelance Fowler if you want to get him. You can watch this. This is going to be on YouTube later. You're watching on Facebook Live now, probably. You can watch it later on YouTube because the whole episode will be up. If you listen to podcasts, I know it's on Spotify. Wherever you listen to podcasts, check out Pickwatch Live. So if you don't watch the whole thing tonight, you can listen to it tomorrow in the car or on a train or bus to work, whatever you take. Let's get to the game details. Okay, as of right now, we are recording this, if you're not watching live, Thursday night, a little after 8 o'clock Eastern time.
PM.
Thank you very much. And we are still at – the line opened last Sunday night at Pick'em and 57.5 over under. It quickly went to Patriots -2.5, and it's basically stayed there. The over under 56.5. As far as the 76% of the bettors are on the Patriots and 76% of money line. It's a close game. It's not too unusual for that. 76% of the money line are on the Pats. Over under, shading under, 55% are on under right now. If this was a regular season game, this would be a stay away game for me. I don't have a strong feeling. Like last year, I had a very strong feeling. It was for the Patriots, but it was a very short. Last year, I said, I think I have this game figured. This one, I don't know. I don't want to bet this. I mean, I only do it because it's a Super Bowl and because it's my last chance, unless I want to bet, AAF games next Saturday.
which you can do.
Which we can. And by the way, you can make AAF picks on NFLPickwatch.com.
Yeah, I saw that. I was like, look at that.
Right. Sean and the team not sleeping with the end of the NFL season here. Not sleeping at all. Baseball coming too. You be ready, everybody. It's not just NFL anymore here.
I mean, if you can't bet games that Trent Richardson's playing in, what's the point,
It's unbelievable. Are you going to watch that stuff?
It's funny. I talked to the AAF CEO this week for a different website and a different story. Charlie Ebersol, who's Dick Ebersol's brother.
Yeah. Son, I thought.
What is it? You know what? That makes sense because Charlie Ebersol looks very young. So that could be, I'm glad I didn't write that in the story. But they have some really interesting ideas about streaming and how that's going to work. And there's a team in San Antonio, so not too far away from me. I may go down and see him at some point. I mean, I wouldn't mind watching that, but I mean, it's not going to be NFL football. It's going to be guys who couldn't make the NFL or guys who are trying to get to the NFL. So it'll be better than these guys are more talented than a college team, but
right.
You gotta know what you're paying for too.
Yeah. I mean, you'll probably get it cheap. I had friends who had season tickets to the XFL in New York way back when, and it was, you bought season tickets for $100. And you just go hang out and have a few beers and if it's enough to get to, it's probably okay. It's a decent a couple hours.
It's interesting because the XFL is coming back next year in 2020.
That's right.
So now you have a bunch of leagues kind of competing for that talent, I guess. I don't know how it's going to work.
Right. All right. So now we might keep people over now. Let's get back to the Super Bowl instead of the AAF. But as fun as it is to chat about. This would be a stay away for me. Do you have a strong feeling about this game? I won't ask you yet who you're picking, but there's some question marks here that I don't have figured out.
No, I don't. I'm not sure either. The line I saw, and there's all kinds of sports books and online sports betting, so we may not look at the same thing. I saw the opener as the Rams at -1.
Okay,
and which quickly turned, basically into the -2.5. Now you see it the Patriots, and I saw that 80% of the bets. I think Bovado sent me an email said 80% of the early money was coming on New England. So I think I would have felt strongly at that point if I saw Rams -1. I would have felt really good about picking the Patriots.
Right.
But if we're talking just straight up, I don't, it's hard. It is hard to say. It would be a game I'd stay away from too, probably, but,
okay. Well, let's dig into it a little bit. Let's go Patriots with. Well, actually, let's get to the coaches first. Belichick's, as Mike Francesa would say, Belichick, right? We know what he is. 2 weeks to prepare, you think, might give him an advantage. I mean, he's 5-3 in Super Bowl, so that could go both ways. Sean McVay has a chance to put a big fat exclamation point on all the love he's been getting in his first 2 years as an NFL coach. And he seems to be, game planning wise and scheme wise, seems to be really strong. I mean, the people who watch a lot more tape than I do love him. He, the players give him high marks for, how he leads the team, basically. I mean, it's probably one of the more interesting coaching matchups we've had in a while.
Yeah, you're right. It is. It's that young gun guy who's got all the new ideas. Guy who's kind of done a miracle job turning around a franchise versus the old, experienced, wizened coach who's not going to be around forever, but has kind of done some things similar in the past. He was once a whiz kid, once turned around an entire franchise. Although, unlike Belichick in Cleveland, this is McVay's first job doing it. So, maybe advantage to him a little bit there. But no, it's interesting because Belichick is so good, and Belichick, that Belichick knows how to dissect a team and how to find the holes. And we're not sure yet about McVay, if he can be that kind of coach. There have been plenty of coaches who have had really good early success in their tenures. There have been plenty of coaches who have gone to Super Bowls who then were fired a couple of years later. I mean, look at Lovie Smith. I mean, there's a ton of those guys. So, it's interesting to see, can McVay kind of eventually get to a point where he's kind of considered a Belichick? I don't know. But win a Super Bowl this early on, how is he? Like 33?
He would be, and the trivia, by the way, if you haven't heard it, McVay would be the youngest Super Bowl winning coach. Belichick would be the oldest Super Bowl winning coach, depending on how the game goes.
So, there's already a chance for McVay to make himself a legend in that way. Even, no matter what happens the rest of his career, he's always a Super Bowl winner, right? I mean, like Mike McCarthy, can't take that away from him, Right.
That still gets, as much as a lot of people think that Mike McCarthy is, a lot of people watch closely think Mike McCarthy's not a very good coach, and still he's being considered, was considered for a bunch of jobs. I mean, he's a made man, to use a mafia term, right?
Right.
All right, so game plan wise here, let's go Pats with the ball. So look, it's easy to say, hey, the way to beat Brady is to, get to pressure him. Duh. Of course it is. He probably, like most quarterbacks, but maybe more so because he's not so mobile, the pressure up the middle. This goes back to, more than anything else, where this jumps out was the 2 games against the Giants. The 2 Super Bowl losses, especially the first one. They got pressure up the middle, and they got pressure with 4. They didn't have to send safeties and corners and linebackers everywhere. They got pressure with 4 so they could drop people off. They could drop a lot of people into coverage, and the front 4 got home, right? Hey, now, Aaron Donald and Donald Kung Su and Dante Fowler. Aaron Donald, obviously the headliner here. If there is a D-line capable of doing the same kind of thing to the Pats, you would think the Rams could be it.
Yeah, and there are some quarterbacks who play pretty well under pressure. It's funny. I was doing research for this and talking about Tom Brady and under pressure. And last year, heading into the 2017 season, this is in May 2017, there was a story about how he, can you hear that? Can you hear that music?
No.
Okay. It's just my computer. There was a story about how his quarterback completion percentage dropped more than anybody else in the league when he faced pressure.
Right.
And then in the middle of the season, of the same season, or this is the end of the season, 2017, he was the best quarterback at dealing with pressure. I think I don't know what it was for 2018, but 2017, his passer rating was 111.3 when he's pressured. So there are times when Brady has been fine under pressure, and that, just because you're blitzing a guy or just because you're getting pressure on doesn't mean he's going to fold. I guess is what I'm saying. So obviously, if you're the Rams, you want to get pressure with that front 4. That's going to make things easier for you, like you said, dropping the 7 off into coverage. But it doesn't necessarily mean, just because you have pressure on Brady doesn't mean he's going to wilt, I guess is what I'm saying.
Okay. I actually read something yesterday. And by the way, of all the things that I was reading through a lot of previews, and I got to say my favorite so far that I've seen was Bill Barnwell on ESPN. Just did a great breakdown of all the things that could happen in this game and what to look for and all that stuff. And I think he was the one, I'm not sure if it was him or someone else, think about Brady under pressure. I think it was this season that it was his pressure, and I'm approximating the numbers. When get under pressure from the outside, his passer rating was something like 118, but when under pressure from the inside, it was something like 63, which makes sense. You know, I mean, you can sense rush from the outside, you're at the ball, comes up the middle, there's not a lot to do. You know, you can't, it's not like you can say, oh, I'm going to get out of here because you got guys in your face and you're Tom Brady. You're not really, you know, like I said, not that mobile. I don't know. I think this is it. How does, look, the Pats offensive line, every year they seem to patch it together. You know, I mean, they drafted a left tackle in the first round this year and he got hurt, right? Mm-hmm. And then they figured it out. I mean, their offensive line coach has been there for like, you know, for the whole time Belichick has, and he's awesome, Scarnecchia. And they just, I can't wait to see how they try to combat Donald, because in the first 2 playoff games, Donald's, I mean, he's unbelievable. He might be the best player in the league. That's how good he is. I mean, he's the most fascinating player in the game.
And then next to him, you got Sue. I mean, a guy who, you know, so it's not, if you can double Donald or you can triple Donald, that doesn't take away the problem, you know?
Right.
Sue's not what he once was, but Sue's also still pretty darn good in there too. Mm-hmm. Who knows? So that's an issue. And that's, I mean, really, if the Rams can't get pressure from the front four, what do? I mean, it's that really kind of it seems like if they can't get the pressure on him, then Brady has an opportunity to carve him up. So you got to get pressure on him from that four, because if it doesn't happen, you may be in for a long night.
Right. Agreed.
So that's kind of a flashpoint of the entire game right there. Is can those guys get pressure on Brady without them having to commit 5-6 guys to rush the passer?
Yep. Also with those 2 monster tackles in there. And it's weird to say now, if you think about where Sue was 3 years ago going to free agency, that he's clearly second fiddle to Donald, as good as he is, you know, because Donald's so good. They struggled against the run this year. In the 2 playoff games, the running backs on the opposing teams, 37 carries for 93 yards. And that was against Zeke and Alvin Kamara and Mark Ingram. So they stiffened up a little bit. And 2 games could be a fluke. I doubt it. Like they're good. And they, you know, they shut those running backs down. So I wouldn't be, and I think the Pats will probably try to run.
Yeah.
You know, because I think they're in the 2 playoff games, they've looked great. They scored 79 points, but they controlled the clock both games. I mean, the first game I think was 36 minutes, and last game what was it against the Chiefs? Was it 40? It was a lot.
It's interesting because the way, and this goes back to Belichick as a coach, is, you know, the way he can adjust his team and the way they score and the way they play offense. And it's this year, or this point of the season, it's a running team, because Brady's not what he was. Gronk is not what he was. You know, Edelman's good, but there's not a ton of stars in that team that are in their primes anymore, you know? So then you go to the running game, which has been really effective.
Right.
So it's just another facet of Belichick as a coach, and Josh McDaniel as an offensive coordinator, where you adjust, and then that's the thing. I mean, like, you can adjust in game too. So if the Rams can, you know, shut down Sony Michel, and they can, you know, stop James White a little bit, then I have full confidence that Belichick and McDaniel can turn somewhere else, and maybe it's going to be, Chris Hogan's going to be here or something like that, you know?
Right.
But I mean, if you are the Rams, you need to stop the run and make somebody else beat you, I guess.
Right. As far as over the passing game, Gronk's last game, maybe it's possible. I don't know if that means anything game plan wise. You're right about the game plan though. The Patriots, more so than most teams, there are a lot of teams who sort of like, you know, hey, this is what we do. and we're going to ride or die with what we do. And the Pats just, you don't know what you're going to get out of them week to week. Which is why Belichick's so brilliant, because they're like, all right, we're going to find the weakness and we're going to attack it.
Or from half to half. I mean, the halftime adjustments too can be huge.
Right. So as far as matchups, where the Pats attack, you got a tailor-made attack point here for the Pats offense, because the Rams have gotten killed by slot receivers. Because I mean, Talib was out for a while, and Talib's on the outside, and Marcus Peters on the outside, and he didn't play as well as they thought he would. And Nickel Roby Coleman played on the inside more than anyone else, and he's not that good. And you've got Edelman, who might be the best route running technician slot guy in the league. I mean, he's not a superstar. I saw some people asking about Hall of Fame for him this week, and that's ridiculous, I think, but he's always open, always. I mean, it's funny, going back to Romo, he was calling Edelman open over the middle. Like, they couldn't cover him because he runs great routes, and he just finds seams, he finds spots to get open. And now he seems to have a soft spot. You wonder if the Rams are going to have to try to adjust up front and not wait for that problem to happen. Like, do they bring Talib inside? I don't know what, but you would think if they play the way they have on defense all year and the Pats have Edelman in the slot, that's a soft matchup.
Who else do they have that can really hurt you from a receiving standpoint? I mean, Gronk, obviously, maybe we'll talk about him later. But who else do they have? I mean, it's
Hogan and Dorsett, and
Yeah.
I mean, you think, because if they were on the Patriots, who would we be talking about? But,
right.
So, I mean,
and if Josh Gordon was still playing, then that would be a different situation. But so it seems like Edelman really has to be the man, Yeah. So why not? Yeah. Why not? Why not throw Talib on the inside? That's not a bad idea. I just don't think, we see it all the time, the Edelman. Before him, it was Wes Welker. Before him, it was who? Lloyd?
Troy Brown, maybe. You want to go back to Troy Brown?
Going all the way back to, Troy Brown. That's just what Brady does. That's what the Patriots do. They get those slot guys and they make them stars. I mean, Amendola to a degree too. I mean, you have to, I don't know. You got to try. I guess you may. Do you put your best corner on Edelman? I don't know. I mean,
I don't know. It just seems like if they don't, they're going to have a problem. Like it seems like an obvious problem, and if it's obvious to us, it's obvious to Wade Phillips.
Because there's you're not going to put your best guy on Chris Hogan, right? I mean, it wouldn't seem like it. You got to have somebody. James White is really good catching the ball in the backfield, so that's a potential problem too.
But also back to what we said earlier. You are going to have, if the Rams are going to do what we talked about and basically all right, we're trying to get Brady, we're going to have 7 people back in coverage. We're going to try to get to Brady with 4 people. Well, if that's the case, Coleman's not on an island. Roby Coleman, sorry. He's not on an island. He's got help. Yeah. I don't know. I just think they have to, you have to think they're going to adjust to that somehow. And I don't know exactly what the adjustment is. That's over my pay grade, as Barack Obama once said.
But I think you're right. I mean, I think you do have to concentrate on Edelman. And if James White beats you out of the backfield, so be it. Or Rex Burkhead makes a couple catches. I mean, so be it. Right. I do. The more that I think about it, you really have to go all out and to stop Edelman, because he's a guy he's that little tiny bastard who can just kill you,
Right. And you think, look, if Hogan or Dorsett beats you, all right.
Yeah.
It's not our day.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's probably the way you got to do it.
All right. Other side of this, Rams with the ball. When Ryan and I did our show last Tuesday, 2 days after the game, we had read the quotes from Todd Gurley saying, hey, I was just, what did he say? I was sorry. I didn't play well, and that's why they took me out. And I sat for CJ Anderson. And I said to Ryan, I don't care what they say, he's not healthy. And all week, they've been insisting, the coach, the player, the GM, whoever else, anyone around the team, Gurley's fine. No way. I don't buy it. How does that happen in the NFC Championship game if he's healthy? You know what? 3 touches. He dropped a ball he had a ball tip off his hand that went for an interception. Let's sit him down. Come on. How dumb do I look?
Well, I guess I could buy it in a situation where, look, C.J. Anderson has come in, has played well.
Mm-hmm.
He said it. I'm the freshest running back in the league because he, didn't play most of the season. So from that perspective, I could kind of see it, especially if you think, well, listen, we know the Saints are going to score going into it. Well, listen, we know the Saints are probably going to score a lot of points. We need to keep up with them. We're going to put it on Jared Goff's shoulder. And it sucks Gurley isn't playing well, but we can use C.J. Anderson and it'd be okay. I could kind of see that, I guess, but I don't know. I mean, it does seem like you got to ride with the horse that brought you there, and it doesn't make a lot of sense that Gurley would be benched that quickly or that soon. That's a tough one, but but you take what these coaches say with a grain of salt anyway. I mean, nobody's going to tell you that Gurley's injured,
right?
So I mean, who knows?
So if you're feeling, let's say you feel strongly about the Rams. Like, I'm trying to figure out the people, and we said most of the money's on the Pats so far. So this is not a lot of people. Feeling strongly about the Rams and not feeling certain about Gurley's health status seems weird to me. Like, it doesn't seem that you can be both.
Right.
So you have to be, if you're on the Rams train, like I said, I got to pick someone. I'm picking somebody. I'll tell you in a minute because I got to pick somebody. But if you're on the Rams train, you got to be pretty sure that you got to be buying what Sean McVay's selling about Todd Gurley, because you can't go, I'm all in on the Rams beating the Patriots, and if Gurley's not healthy, whatever, it's okay, it doesn't matter.
But I mean, they won 2 weeks ago without Gurley
on the road.
On the road, so you could be confident in that. I guess. I don't know. I think one of the big reasons that I'm not sold on the Rams, or I'm not saying I'm not sold on them. I'm saying I wouldn't be 100% confident putting my bet on them. Is Jared Goff?
Mm-hmm. I see that.
He's had a decent season. I mean, look at the stats, and the stats are good. But you watch him play, and he's is he a top 10 guy in the quarterback in the league? Yeah, maybe. Is he a top 5 guy? No.
Right.
Is Brady a top 5 guy? Maybe Brady's the best quarterback of all time. Right. Obviously not the Brady of old, but do you if I'm picking between Tom Brady and Jared Goff at this moment, even though Brady is 41 and Goff is maybe just entering his prime, I'm going with Brady every day of the week.
Absolutely.
So
I agree.
I don't know. I was a little surprised that Goff could lead him to an NFC title, quite frankly.
So the Pats, you talking about, can Goff win it for them? But Belichick has this reputation, well deserved. It's not a reputation; it's a history of basically trying to take out one player. Like, I'm not going to let this thing beat me, and if the other stuff beats me, it's fine. It started back when he's with the Giants in Super Bowl 25 and they played the Bills. And basically what they did was they said the Bills, basically no one thought the Bills could lose that game. The Bills are 7-point favorites, so they weren't overwhelming. But their offense had just scored, they just beat the Raiders 56-3 in the NFC Championship game, and their offense was just incredible. And Belichick basically said, we're going to let Thurman Thomas run. Sometimes they had 2 down linemen, and they said, if the receivers come over the middle, we're going to hit them in the mouth, but we're going to have, 8 guys back in coverage all the time and not let them throw, because that way we'll keep the offense, the clock will run so they won't, throw constantly and throw 50 times and have us gassed. They're going to run clock when they're on the field. And if Thurman Thomas got 135 yards that day, but the thing was, it was like, all right, we're going to take out Andre Reed mostly and the rest of the passing game. And, Thurman Thomas, he's just going to have room to run. This game, I've seen competing viewpoints here. Is it they're going to try to take out Gurley and let Goff beat them if he can? Or do they play a high-powered offense in that same way? I think it was the Barnwell article I mentioned. do they play that high-powered Rams offense the same way, where they let Gurley they let Gurley run, they don't let him get out in the passing game, but they try to shut down the passing game, and if Gurley, racks up a bunch of yards, fine. Like, what do you think? What do you think they do?
I think that makes sense, is to target that running game, especially I assume the Patriots don't know if Gurley is hurt, so maybe it's a little easier to shut that down. And C.J. Anderson throughout his career he's been okay, but he's not a superstar. He's had a good run lately, but I think you make Jared Goff beat you, because he doesn't have a track record that he can. I mean, he's only been in the league for a couple of years. Maybe the pressure gets to him. Maybe the moment gets to him. I think that's what you do. I think if Gurley gets yards, if he's healthy, then fine. If C.J. Anderson rumbles for a touchdown or two, that's okay. But keep the ball at Woods' hands. Keep the ball out of Cook's hands. Shut down Goff, and then you win. I think that's the right play, because, like I said, I'm not sold necessarily on Jared Goff, and I think making him try to beat you is a good game plan.
I think you're right. I think they try to shut down Gurley, and the thing is, the Pats corners are good enough. The defensive backfield's good. I mean, Gilmore's really good. The rookie Jackson, I think, has been getting better. So I think that, I know Woods and Cooks are good. Yeah. But I think the Pats can, I think they've got enough out there to keep them in a bit of check, that they're not going to, if they try to stop Gurley, those guys aren't going to just run all over them and tear them apart.
Yeah. I mean, make them a one-dimensional team. I mean, the Patriots, are top 10 rush defense teams here. Pretty good against the run. So it's doable.
Right.
But, if you make that team a one-dimensional team, then you see what Jared Goff can do in the Super Bowl when, the defenders have their ears pinned back and are coming after him every play, because, the Rams have no other choice but to pass the ball.
Right.
That to me, if I'm a Patriots coach or a Patriots player, I love that. I love that idea.
Yeah. I'm looking in the Facebook comments. My buddy Bruce is on here, like he always is. He's saying he's got the Pats and under. By the way, we're going to get into prop bets in a minute. I'm going to save his prop bets because they're silly and stupid, but they're fun. So, all right. Do you think anybody? I don't know. I was going to ask you if any weird receivers, like if McVay's going to adjust to what the Pats are doing. Is it? I mean, did they start throwing the tight ends? Did they go? I mean, does Josh Reynolds pop out? And am I overthinking, or is it basically going to be Gurley, and then if not, it's going to be Cooks and Woods, and that's that.
maybe get Andrew Whitworth out there for a play or two. Make him kick the ball.
I'm sick about. I read him the other day talk about how he said he wanted to go play for the Giants and they didn't want him. They started Eric Flowers. It drove me crazy reading that story. Made me angry all over again.
I'll tell you what. I covered Whitworth for a number of years in Cincinnati. The dude is as far as from a media perspective, a great guy to deal with. I'll tell you what. And a great player. What a great player he's been throughout his career. And finally, what was he was like 0 for 7 or something coming into this year, right? In playoff games or something like that. Hilarious. Yeah, I mean, who else did that? You remember when we talked about Cooper Kupp and how that would affect the team? How great would that be to have Cooper Kupp in the lineup?
Yeah, what he helped them maybe more than we thought he did.
Yeah. But you look at this roster, right? Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Gurley out of the backfield's been okay, but if he's hurt, that's a problem. I don't know. You go with Woods and Cooks and hope for the best, I guess, because I'm not seeing like anybody else who's super reliable. I mean, Josh Reynolds has been okay. He's got 5 touchdown passes this year. Right. Pretty good yards per receiving, 13.9 average, so pretty good. But
he's solid. I like him.
Yeah, but I'm going to be shocked if Josh Reynolds is your Super Bowl MVP.
Fair enough. All right, who you got? Let's hear your pick.
They're going to my column to see who I pick. No, I'm just kidding. The Patriots. Okay. I picked against the Patriots the previous 2 games. I've been wrong both times.
Me too.
I don't know why I ever feel like picking against the Patriots is the right move because it's one of the greatest franchises, probably the greatest franchise run ever. Would you say that? The last 2 decades?
Considering context and everything, I mean, unless you want to go, the New York Yankees, the Montreal Canadiens, or something like that.
Oh, yeah, I'm talking about
different. The last 2 decades, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So why am I picking against them? Why would I pick against them? I don't. It's Belichick. It's Tom Brady. All that stuff combined. I don't see. It's kind of a cliche. I just don't see the Rams being there quite yet. I don't see them beating the Patriots quite yet. I just don't see it.
Okay. Over under 56.5.
I would. That's a good over under. I haven't really thought about it, to be honest with you. I would probably go over because this game has the ability to be a high scoring game.
Right.
Maybe we expected more of the Saints Rams game to be that more of a high scoring game, and it didn't really deliver necessarily on that. But it has the ability. This game has the ability to. I mean, these are 2 of the top 4 scoring offenses in the league, so they can put points up. If that's the case, I mean, I'm not about to root. If I go under, I'm not going to be comfortable rooting for them to score less than that, just because I know what kind of firepower both teams have.
All right, I'm gonna pick the Rams, and I think
you just picked them just now, or have you thought about that? Because I thought about it. You made it sound like you know what? I'm just going to go with
now that we've talked for 40 minutes, so I'm going to pick the Rams. No. And like I said, in the beginning of the show, I said I would stay away from this one unless it was because it's the Super Bowl. I'm in, but I don't have a strong feeling about it. I think part of it is, I'm looking at everybody else is picking the Pats, and maybe I want to make up some ground on people. Seriously, it's such a toss up for me. And I think that, I mean, it's funny. I thought before the playoffs that being without Josh Gordon was going to hurt them more than it did. I think I'm hoping that Gurley's healthy, which changes them.
Yeah.
And I agree with you. I'm not a huge Goff believer, and I really want to see what Belichick comes up with here. But like I said, I'm just it's a gut thing more than a hey, I really think they're going to win, because I don't want to get into the thing of, well, I picked against the Pats twice, but geez, they proved me wrong, and now I'm dead wrong, and they're certainly going to win the Super Bowl. I'm not going that far.
Yeah.
I mean, they might make me wrong 3 times in a row, but I thought mid-season, early season that the Rams were the best team in the league, and they had a few speed bumps, and they haven't looked awesome in the playoffs. The home game against the Cowboys, they were fine. But I don't know. I just think that, like I said, it's a toss-up. I'm just going to trust my gut. I think they step up a little. And I think the Pats, like I said, Gronk, even though he had a couple of big catches last week, he's still not – he's a step slow. I mean, you can't argue with that, really.
No, but he did step up. He did
step up. But it's not like he caught 8 passes. He caught, 4?
I think
that's fine.
I think he was targeted 11 times for 6 catches.
6, okay. But he's not Gronk. He's not old Gronk. And they don't have a lot of weapons there on offense. And if the Rams can stop the run, I don't know. Again, this is all Aaron Donald. This is so much about Aaron Donald this game. I love it.
With Gronk, though, I mean, this could very well be his last game. He could retire for this. So from that perspective, you could make the case that Gronk's going to go all out. There's no reason not to. There's no reason not to for him to go all out in his last game and have a huge game. And he has the talent. He's the best tight end of all time. But some would say so. Yeah. He has that talent. I could see him just balling out completely. You saw glimpses of it in the AFC title game. So
I mean, if they feed him. It depends on how the Rams defend him, I guess.
Yeah.
All right. So right now, 65 on NFLPickwatch.com, 65% of the experts are taking the Pats, giving the points. 64% of the fans taking the Pats, giving the points. Fan-wise, I think
that sounds right.
We talked about there's about 3 people. Speakeasy Sports, Imagery, Upstate, 1, 2, 3, 4 are up in the top 3. As far as the experts, we've got. It looks like about half the picks are in. Up at the top, Jamie Eisenberg, Pats. Ben Volen, Pats. Mike Clay, Rams. Prisco, Pats. Ryan Fowler, our guy, Pats. Case Kiefer, let's see. For the Las Vegas Sun, Rams. Anybody else here that we recognize? Jason Locken for Pats. 538 Rams are with me. So Will Brinson, CBS, Pats. Just kind of going through people who you might know. So yeah, it's about 2/3 Pats right now for both the fans and the experts. So if I win, if the Rams win, then I pull it to within a half game of you for the season.
Now, does that beat me or not?
No, I'm down.
Okay.
I'm a game down in the loss column, and that's it. That's as close as I can get. Okay.
Straight up. Let me just tell you straight up. 75% of the experts are picking the Patriots. So
okay,
you have a 75% think they're going to win straight up, and 66% think they're going to win against the spread. So some people are walking a little bit of the line there.
All right, let's get to the props. How about this first? MVPs. So the quarterbacks are the favorites, obviously. Again, I'm staring at Aaron Donald again. Because looking at it, I think if the Rams win, there's such a good scenario you can paint about Aaron Donald being the key to the win. Mm-hmm. Like I just think look, Goff or Gurley would be obvious. But I think that if the Rams have a strong game, there's a pretty decent chance that Donald will be a key part of it, and he's 18-1 as the MVP pick. Hey, look, you want to pick Brady at plus 125? I'm not going to argue with you.
What's Gronk? What's Gronk on the Super Bowl MVP?
30-1.
I like that. I would
just 20-1.
I would take Gronk at 30-1.
Yeah.
Yeah, why not?
I mean, it's a good story. I mean, the thing is, when something like this, it's a media vote, you have to factor in the storyline too. And Gronk will be a good storyline. If Gronk goes, 6 for 108 with 2 touchdowns, it's a great storyline.
Yeah.
And people are more apt to vote for him.
When's the last time a slot
goes 6 for 108 with 2 touchdowns?
When's the last time a slot receiver won MVP in the Super Bowl? I wonder if that's ever happened.
Check Super Bowl MVPs. Hold on.
Or a receiver in general.
Super Bowl MVPs. I'm going to go backwards. Right? The last wide receiver was Santonio Holmes 10 years ago.
Okay.
Hines Ward.
Hines Ward in 2006.
Deion Branch for the Pats.
Yeah. Okay.
And now we're going way back after that.
Desmond Howard. Jerry Rice, but he was not a slot receiver.
No, Desmond Howard. Holy cow. I forgot about that.
There hasn't been a safety, actually, not too long ago. 2003, Dexter Jackson's a safety. I'm trying to think, what position most least likely to win?
I had two friends. We used to go to this. We're going to go to the hour, everybody, by the way. two friends of mine. We used to go to this bar in New York every year to watch the game. And the thing was, it was a $300 a box for the pool. And you could split it with one other person. 2 people for the $300 could win. It was all you could eat and drink for the game. And the final score was $15,000 for the box.
Wow.
And that was the game where Tampa Bay played the Raiders, and Tampa Bay killed them. And these guys in the corner, the Bucks picked off that 2 pick sixes in the last 2 or 3 minutes. So they got the first one with about 2 minutes left, and they went up like 45-21 or whatever it was. And this group of guys over in the corner were like, going crazy. And they were spending their money already. They were so excited. And 2 of my friends are sitting in the corner like, if there's one more of these, we're going to be all right. And they got it. So the other guys are miserable. And these 2 guys are like, celebrating. So what happens is we knew the owner of the bar. So after the game, he comes out and he's like, it's Pete and Anthony, here you go. And he paid them in cash.
Yeah.
So it's $7,500 each.
Yeah.
And they're looking going, it's 10 o'clock and I'm in the middle of Manhattan. You want me to walk home with my pockets full? It's like Kramer when he left OTV on the Seinfeld episode with all the money in his pocket. So the two of them walk out. They're both, oh, it's hilarious. They're like, I'll call you when I get home. I think I'm going to get mugged. I don't know what's going on.
Avoid Times Square.
Oh, great.
There has never been a tight end that's won a Super Bowl MVP.
Ah, there you go.
So, and there's never been a kicker who's won Super Bowl MVP either.
Oh,
so
that's good.
But Gronk, so Gronk, how about that story? Gronk, 6 catches, 109 yards, 2 touchdowns, game winner, MVP, first ever MVP. He retires, and life is great for Rob Gronkowski.
All right.
That's what I'm going with. That's what I'm betting my 30-1 on.
That's your betting your 31, really?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, other ones. Let's see. We got a bunch of comments here tonight. So that's good. Let's see. Where's the rest of them? All right. So my buddy Boos here. Where'd it go? The comments are disappearing. Hold on. I got to pull these up because he's got a bunch of goofy prop bets. I got to pull them up or he'll get mad at me. All right. So the prop bets here. Gladys Knight over. What's the I think it was 145.
I think I saw it was 150, 151, I believe, on whatever I was looking at, Bovada or something. Yeah, I think it's my buddy who used to work for Bovada now works for somebody else. It's betonline.ag. They have it at a minute 50. That apparently is the heaviest bet prop. When I covered sports live for a number of years, I would always tape the national, I always record, I'd always time the national anthem and record it. I don't know why I ever did that, but I did. And then it became, when I was in Cincinnati, it became like a thing. All the writers and media knew I did it and so it's just, they would kind of bust my chops about it. But
so you are if that's the case, you might be the country's foremost Super Bowl national anthem prop bet expert.
There was one year, I think the longest I ever heard was at a Super Bowl. I think it was like 2 minutes and 35 seconds. It was, I can't remember who it was. It was crazy.
So what are we doing here with this? Is 145? What do you think of it? Or 150?
I think oh God, you know what?
I mean, if I can't ask you this, who can I ask?
I think you go under.
Under. All right.
I think
if it was under on national anthem.
Yeah, I think if it was a minute 40, I would say maybe go over, or a minute 45. I didn't think about it. Minute 50, I think is a little too much.
Yeah, I'm seeing a minute 45 in some places too. But this is really, I didn't know. This is one of those hidden things. I didn't know all year that you're the national anthem expert.
I still have those sheets somewhere. I mean, I had like sheets of like.
This is a gold mine.
It was like 4 or 5 years worth of like time. And I was, because I was listening to I was listening to like 100, 110 national anthems per year. That's how many games I was covering, whether it was baseball, MLB games or NCAA basketball games or NFL games or whatever. I think the shortest I ever covered, the shortest national anthem, I think was like 49 seconds. I think the longest one was like 235.
This is awesome. I'm going to tweet this out, and people are going to ask you who to pick on the national. What to pick?
I'll find those sheets, and if you tweet them out, I'll respond with my sheets.
That's incredible. This is good stuff. See, everybody, see why we went 50 minutes in. Look what we got here. You got the Super Bowl prop bet for the national anthem. You got the source, the best source you could possibly get. All right.
Hey, before we move on, can I let me just go through these other prop bets on the national anthem. I don't know if you have any others in that. So there's one. This is through what did I say? Betonline.ag.
Yeah.
It is will any member of the Pips join Gladys Knight for the national anthem? That's a 5-1 yes. No is 1 to 10 minus 1,000. So I don't know about that. There's also, will Gladys Knight omit a word from the national anthem? Yes is at 7-1. No is at is minus 1,500. There's also Gladys Knight's attire, which she's going to wear. There's the bet for Gladys Knight's microphone to the national anthem. It's 2 to 3 if it's on the mic stand, 5 to 4 if it's not in the mic stand, and 14 to 1 if it's on the headset. 14 to 1 on the headset. Come on.
Love it. That's great stuff.
Will Gladys Knight kneel during the national anthem?
Oh no.
Plus 500 for yes, minus 1,000 for no.
Oh man. That could, if that happens, could you still get in your bets on how many Trump tweets go out on Sunday? Because that will affect the Trump tweets. Would he dare go after last night? If she knelt during the national anthem of the Super Bowl, he would tweet before kickoff. No doubt.
I don't know. How old is Gladys Knight? How old? I guess he does talk trash about Maxine Waters. So
Talks trash about everybody.
Yeah.
There's no. I mean, there's no one immune, right? I mean, whatever you think of Trump, a 99-year-old guy on his deathbed, if he does something Trump doesn't like, he's going to say something.
Yeah, I mean, he's still talking trash about John McCain, so I guess that's probably true.
So I mean, it is. I mean, it's what he does.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, if Gladys Knight knelt, yes, he would be his phone. He would grab his phone, like whatever he's doing, he'd grab his phone. All right.
Sorry, continue your prop bets if you have any others.
No, let's see. Coin toss, not doing that. I see a minute 50 on Action Network. I see 150.5 seconds for national anthem.
I love 150.5. Great.
Let's see. First TD. I don't have the odds here. I'm not not in the place that I want to be. I'm at the MVP page, which has got. What do you have on Bet.ag?
Will Rob Gronkowski have the hand on his heart during the national anthem? Yes, at -500. No, at +300. The typical, like, who is going to be mentioned first during the broadcast will be Belichick or McVay. How many times will Robert Kraft be shown during the live broadcast? The over-under is -2.5. And that's from kickoff until final whistle. Halftime does not count.
All right.
Will Tom Brady be seen cursing during the live broadcast? Yes is at +300. No is at -500. Will the term greatest show on turf be said during the live broadcast?
Yes.
It's a +150 for yes, -200 for no.
Nance is totally going down that road.
Halftime does not count for that as well. So from kickoff until final whistle. How many times will Giselle be shown on TV? Yeah, over under is 1.5.
I go over on that.
Yeah, I don't know. You think oh, of course that'll be over, but there's a reason it's 1.5.
I only need 2. If you said 2.5, I would have stayed away. 1.5, I think I'm going over.
There's a couple on Tony Romo. Tony Romo, the over under on how many times Tony Romo says, "Here we go," 2.5. Will the term Romostradamus?
Yeah, that's a good one.
That's a good one. I mean, you gotta love these prop bets.
He was the biggest star of championship weekend.
Well, I mean, good for him.
Yeah,
I think he was a guy who got a little bit of the short end of the stick. I think what people thought about him in his career.
I agree with you.
I think he was much better than people that he gets credit for.
Yep.
So it's nice to see him get, and he's so good, man. He's so good on the broadcast, and
he's really good at his job.
It's so much fun to listen to. You could like enthusiasm. It's like there was a time, college football when, oh my God, what's the guy's name? College basketball, so excited. It works for Fox.
Al McGraw. Oh, Gus Johnson.
Gus Johnson. It's like that really adds an element to the game.
Right.
The over-under, I see on the Trump tweets on this one is the over-under is 5 on February 3rd, which I guess
on the whole date. So that counts when he wakes up at 7 o'clock in the morning and fires off a few.
I wonder if it has to do with the Super Bowl or just in general.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's just the amount on the day.
Oh, I would go over on 5. I'd go over, I think.
I wonder if he'll do it during the game though. He normally just does it in the morning, and there's some days he'll go 10 of them, but a lot of other days he 2 or 3 in the morning, and then he shuts off.
Are they doing an interview with him before the game or not?
I heard they might, but that was a few days ago, so I'm not sure.
There was a bet of will any member of the winning team visit the White House, but yes is at -1,000, so that seems like a pretty obvious bet.
Yeah, I mean the Patriots definitely will.
Yeah, well, yeah, I mean, yeah, Brady certainly would.
Right, and Kraft and Belichick, all of them. So no issues with them, unless there's individuals, which could be. But the Rams, I don't know where they would fall in that spectrum.
Yeah.
All right, let's wrap it. We're at an hour.
We haven't even gotten to part about the color of the liquid that'll be poured onto the game-winning coach. We haven't even gotten to that yet.
Isn't it always? Was it red? Right? It's usually red.
Red is 6-1. The clear favorite is clear/water at 5-2. Then yellow 3-1, blue 4-1, orange 4-1, red 6-1, green/lime 7-1, purple at 9-1.
Purple.
Who bets that stuff, man?
See, you can get an equipment manager to spike that have his friends bet like 200 grand in Vegas on that.
There you go.
That's the way to attack it.
We have to come up with a spicy name for that. It wouldn't be Deflategate. It would be Gatorade. Gatorade.
Gatorgate.
Gatorade. I like Gatorade better. That's what it's going to be.
All right, folks, if you have questions before kickoff, like I said, he's at Josh Katzowitz on Twitter. I'm at jhalpin37. Ryan is at Freelance Fowler, and our main account is at Pickwatch. As always, like I said, you can watch this show on YouTube, or it'll be here on the Facebook page. If you're watching it here, it'll be on YouTube. We're finishing up 9 o'clock Eastern on Thursday night. I'll have it up in probably an hour and a half, something like that. Josh, this is our last show, bud.
It's been, you know what? It's been fun. I've not enjoyed getting up at 6 a.m. my time every Thursday, but I won't miss that. But John, I'll miss you.
I'll miss you too, man. We should just check in the off season just for fun and ramble about different weird gambling bets. Maybe at the NCAA tournament we can do it.
There you go.
It'd be fun. Or the AAF. We can ask Sean if he wants us to do AAF.
No, I'm not doing AAF live. I'm not doing AAF podcast. No chance.
All right, everybody. That's it for this edition of Pickwatch Live. I am going to be on Facebook Live like I am every Sunday. I'm going to do 4:30 Eastern just to check in. Hey, have the lines moved? Has the over/under moved? Anything else I need to know? There's going to be nothing about injuries you need to know, but the lines in the over/under, and keep up with, hey, all the picks will be in from the experts by then. So we'll know, hey, what percentage picked the Pats and the Rams. It's still going to favor the Pats. I just wonder if it's going to favor it as much as it does now. So as late picks come in, we'll see. But again, 4:30 Eastern on Sunday, Facebook Live. I'll be there for about 10 or 15 minutes. So please come on back then. That's it. That's it for almost the season and for the Sunday Facebook Live. For Josh Katzowitz, I'm John Halpin. Good luck with your Super Bowl wagers, and thanks for watching Pickwatch Live.